1921 Radio family. We are back. I got Larry E. Roberts in the studio tonight.
What's up?
Right
what's up?
now. All right, you know from Larry Barber College. He and I didn't even realize we had some music stuff in common. I'm up here tripping right now. Anyway, just sharing some music studio stories. But anyway, Larry, welcome to 1921 Radio. By the way, WVOM family, you can visit 1921radio.com and check out Larry's article on Larry's barbershop and everything that he's doing. It's amazing. It's a fantastic article. Visit 1921radio.com. You'll check it out. Great story. Now I'm glad to have him in the studio. Let's get into it, man. Where are you from? How did you end up wherever you're from? I think you're from Chicago.
I'm from Chicago.
Born and raised, right?
Absolutely.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
What was the impetus for starting?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your show, Jimmy.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, man, you know, the way I started, my dad was an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
My dad actually, we talked about music, but my dad played organ for a lot of greats back in the day. So he was with Albertina Walker, James Cleveland. He did their sessions. So
oh my God.
That's where I get my music background from.
Sure.
And my dad drove a pop truck, but he also opened up a restaurant, Larry's Ribs, back in the day.
Okay.
So basically, man, I got my entrepreneurial status from my dad because I used to run his restaurants when I was a teenager, working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. He told me clock in, man, so I can get paid. And then when I took him my hours, man, he didn't pay me. I was kind of salty about that. But the sweat equity aspect of it, man.
Sure.
You know, so I opened up. I decided to start cutting hair at 13 when he built a house out in Matson in the suburbs because there wasn't nobody like me to cut my hair. So I went and bought a pair of clippers for $19.
Wow.
I had the whole south suburbs sold up. And when I was 17, I went to barber school. I was a senior in high school. I got out of school at 12 o'clock every day. I went to barber school. 19 years old, I opened up my first barber shop with the money I saved. You know, and man, the rest is history, basically. I've been in business for 30 years.
I was about to say, wow, 30 years.
30 years.
Good gracious,
Yeah.
man. You can do a master class, man, on starting a business. Wow.
Yeah, I love business, man. You know, I mean, I believe in, a lot of people kind of, they minimize our industry, you know, not knowing it's a $547 billion industry, right? So they minimize our industry because of our postures inside of the barbershops, right? Meaning that, you know, do you know what the red, white, and blue barber pole stand for?
I don't. I was just looking at your chain right there.
Yeah. So the red stand for blood, the blue stand for veins, the white stand for bandages, and the ball on the bottom is called a basin. Well, we used to be doctors and dentists back in the day, right? So we did minor surgeries, but it wasn't until the 1800s until they separated the professions and made the dentist a dentist, doctor a doctor, and our professional name is a Tom Searle artist. So what we do is very, very intricate. We can be responsible for somebody's death sitting in our chair if something goes wrong. We're gonna have to learn about HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, blood pathogens, folliculitis. There's just so many different things, man, that's very key to, you know, making sure that we are on point with everything.
Well, I mean, I think that's important as well, right? I mean, I didn't even think about that, like, you know, recognizing if someone's got a cut or someone has a whatever, you know what I mean, being able to recognize, or if anything happens.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
But I think the biggest thing for our industry is that, you know, people minimize us because of our postures in the shop, man. Yeah, a shop is a place where everybody, you know, can come and it's like the nucleus of the neighborhood. But I think that we should make sure that it's comfortable for anybody, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a person from the church, whether it's a mother, a grandfather, you know, and our postures inside the shop. The music should be appropriate for the shop. You know, you should greet people when they walk in. Make sure the atmosphere is conducive to professionalism. And those are one of the things I teach. Unfortunately, probably over 80% of the people in this industry don't have life insurance policies. They don't have medical. They don't have dental benefits. You know, that's one of the reasons that I'm opening up my own credit union because of the fact that I want to be able to have some products for people not only in the hair care industry but the music industry. Because what is your exit strategy? What are you going to do when you can't stand behind the chair? I used to cut between 25 and 38 heads every day, man. I used to start at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I would cut from 4 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock the next morning. Most heads I've ever cut in one day was 48 heads. So I done cut all the ball players, baseball, football, basketball players, people in Hollywood, all the people in the music industry, man. I done been there, done all of that. So people see me now, you know, they see the glory, but they don't know the story, man. You know, a lot of sweat equity, man. So
you see the glory, but you don't know the story. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
His story is on 1920radio.com. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Man, so when you, what made you, and here's what I love about what you're doing, right? I look at a place like Great Clips or something like that, Sports Clips, and I see some guys that are like, hey man, why don't we just take this barbershop concept across the country and then franchise it, right? And then I've seen barbershops literally that have been on the corner for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, why don't they move forward? Why don't they expand? I mean, like, there's business all over, and I love what you're doing as far as in the Walmarts and then a college and everything like that. How do we get more barbers who own their own shop to think outside the block?
Because, James, it's not, it really as easy as people think that it is, right?
Okay.
So if you don't have the wherewithal, so you mentioned Great Clips, you know, you have places like that they are subsidiaries of major companies who open up those places for write-offs.
Gotcha.
Right? So they can afford to, you know, charge $14.99 for a haircut, or they can afford to they have products that they're able to sell and they're able to pay a commission. But your average, you know, African American barbershop, you know, we aren't in position to do that. I do that inside of Walmart, right? So all of my employees in Walmart, you know, they wear a uniform, we have a front desk staff, you know, they pay taxes, they pay Social Security, federal, state taxes, you know, they have benefits, you know, if they choose to. And I want to set them up to be able to succeed, right? But the average barbershop can't do that, and they're barely making ends meet, and they won't be honest about that. You know, back in the day, you know, I used to rob Peter to pay Paul because of the fact that I made so much money, man, until I didn't really know how to properly spend it. And it was a point in my life where, you know, I wrote a book on it. There was a point in my life I feel like, man, God, what you doing, man? You know, I feel like God didn't like me. You know, I grew up in church, man. My dad is a bishop, you know. I feel like God didn't like me because I feel like I wasn't where I should be when I feel like I should be there. But you have to go through in order to get to. But it's how you deal with what you go through that determines how you come out, right? So we have to be careful we don't allow our gift to take us in places that our character can't handle. And God had to really deal with my character, man, because He didn't want to give me what He's showing me and giving me now. And then I screw it up, and then I'm 50 years old, and then now I'm trying to get back what I lost because I didn't know how to handle it, right? So I didn't understand it at the time, but I understand it now more. And I'm just positioning myself, man, like I just opened up a trade school, you know, with HVAC, automotive, appliance repair, welding, aviation, diesel, mechanics, and all of that kind of stuff, man. Just really trying to, you know, I'm the first barber to ever have a school inside of county jail. I've been at the county jail now for almost 14 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm in 3 juvenile facilities as well, and I have my master instructor license in over 22 states. So I'm just really trying to prepare, man, for where it is I got to go. I'm kind of like a serial entrepreneur, but everything that I'm doing is kind of correlated with one another. It's not like I'm doing something as an individual. I'm the only barber school that has housing. You know, I have a shoe and clothing line. I have a product line. You know, all of these things, but it all work together. You know, side by side.
Well, I mean, and the thing I love about it is that it all works to move the community forward.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Dr. Umar Johnson, who's all over the place sometimes, but he did make a comment. He said that a lot of black millionaires do not set the community up to move forward. The whole community can move forward. They take care of themselves. They take care of their families. But they don't set things up to empower the community move forward. And I think I love what you're doing with this because it empowers them.
And even, man, you know, it's unfortunate, but even with this whole immigrant situation, you know, I just my club is right around the corner, man, but you know, it's a building, I don't know if I should say the name or not, but you know, they got them staying all up in there, right? And I think every human should have an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, at a good, healthy life, man, but you know, deal with home first, right? Deal with home first, and you should see all of them standing outside, man, they don't have nothing to do, you know, they doing this, they doing that, you know, it was at least about a couple hundred people just standing outside as I was pulling up here, you know, they don't have nothing to do. So my thing about it is that, you know, stop trimming the pockets of the people who don't have any answers for it, and reach out to the people who has answers to be able to help, you know, facilitate what it is they're trying to do. You house them for 6 months, but then after that, what? During that, what? You know, I have shuttle buses, I have vans, I can pick them up, and I want to get the bucket boys, I want to get the homeless people. I want to get everybody, man, and give them opportunity to fit into society and not just be sitting around doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So put the money to good use, man.
And that's what I love. I mean, that's why even with my company, 1921, and you and I sat on a panel for Men Motivating Men Tour, is that I could launch my startup downtown like everyone else. Right? But all those jobs will be downtown. All the money and the taxes will be downtown. But if I launch a tech startup in Roseland or Inglewood or Austin, and it creates 200 jobs, minimum 55,000, maximum 90, 100,000, what does that look like? Right? What does that family look like? What does that young man who may have a kid or two look like where he's making $60,000 a year because we train him? Now he's empowered. We're telling him, hey, but don't leave. Because your kids got to see you and other kids got to see you, your boys got to see you doing well. Because if they see you change, then they can change.
Absolutely.
And that's where I feel like, and I shared a little bit at the thing where we got to have some more brothers and sisters who are intentional.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're intentional.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you're here. You could be in wherever else, but you're in the prisons. You saw, hey man, what if I got these brothers that are coming out and they got their certificate in cutting hair? You can immediately start making money cutting hair.
Guess what? And I do all of that stuff totally complimentary, man. I don't get paid to be there.
I love
it. But to a degree, it's almost like, okay, you gotta help make me stronger so that way I can be stronger for them. Because when they get out, man, like I got a young man, you know, he was able to get out of jail because he was working with me and the judge let him out on electric monitoring. And the other day, man, he had his EM taken off. You know, he was happy, man, because he stuck with what he said he was gonna do. But we gave him an opportunity to do something different, you know? So it's like, but help empower me so that way I can be stronger for it. I can't do it on film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we have to come together as a community in order to be able to knock this thing out the park, man.
Man, how can people learn more about what you're doing?
Well, they can go to my websites. I do have Larry'sBarberCollege.com. I do have Title IV. I have Title IV funding like the regular Ford University, so they can do FAFSA to start my school. But also, they can go to Larry'sTradeSchool.tech in order to learn about the trade schools. And then I have a 501c3, which is my non-for-profit, and that's data scholarship. So they can go to datafoundationinc.org. And if people would like to give donations to what I'm doing, I'm trying to build a community center. I'm trying to build 100 units, student housing, as well as I'm expanding one of my locations, adding cosmetology, nails, aesthetics, smart barber, beauty supply, opening up my credit union, man. So I'm just trying to do some stuff, man.
I love it. Well, I tell you, 1921 wants to get behind it.
I appreciate it.
We'll do everything we can. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from Larry E. Roberts Jr. from Larry's Barber College, and we're going to talk about the music thing, man.